Is that how a witch laughs? I don't know.
Sound like that. The gorillas, like the fucking what is that? The music, the music group, or whatever. Not like a gorilla, bitch.
My witch laugh sounds like a gorilla. Thanks,
No,
Karina.
dude. Like, okay, if you guys listen to that Feel Ink or whatever that song is, dude, I'm not
Oh,
even
I know
gonna.
which one you're talking about.
That's what he
I know what you're
sounded.
talking about. Bitch, that was my witch laugh. It's just, the
Are
witch
you
is in the
sure?
house.
Are you
Okay, the
sure you
head
didn't?
witch.
Are you sure that wasn't what is it? You didn't have off the gorillas and shit, whatever.
But let's see your best impression of a witch laugh then.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Exact same thing as me. Bitch, get
Bro, what the heck? How does the witch
out
sound, bro?
of here.
I just know they go like this often, like with their big nails, like Evie Queen nails.
Oh, they're
By
not
the way,
gorilla stitches.
my boyfriend doesn't know who Evie Queen is, so I kind of low-key broke up with him. So I'm now officially single because of Evie Queen. Dude, I saw her live. I don't know if anyone has seen her live, but please do. Once COVID's over, it's safe. But I saw her live about 2 years ago, and it had to be one of the best concerts ever. And I wasn't expecting to see her. It was just random that she appeared at a festival.
Wow, that's
And
badass.
yeah, dude. And then she came out, and I was like, ah! I was like Evie Queen. I was like, dude, Queen, bro, she was getting down, bro. She was like on the floor doing, I don't know what the hell she was doing, but bro, she was
We
bomb,
love to see
bro.
it. We
And
love
I
to
feel like
see
my
it.
little 10-year-old self was like screaming and shit, but I
Oh
don't know how this got
my
into Evie Queen.
god.
But it was-
Anyways, welcome to episode 7 of
yes.
Karina being obsessed with Evie Queen.
I love Evie Queen, guys. But yay, this is a new episode. This is episode 7.
Episode
So
7.
we've made it this
7.
far, and I still don't have a mic. And I'm
Hey.
gonna I'm gonna pull a Karen and get on the phone with corporate
But do
and
your
say,
best.
man, where's my mic? I
Dude,
don't know.
yeah.
I don't know what happened because I ordered it like 2 weeks ago. That's when my mic died off.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, perfect is gonna be here by the end of the week. Because I'm so used to like Amazon Prime that everything's arriving in like a day or two.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm like 2 weeks later. I don't have my mic yet. So I'm a little pissed off, but it doesn't matter because you can't pull a carry no matter what, you know?
Yeah, for real. But anyways, today,
Mm-hmm.
besides Karina's mic being fucked up still, we are gonna talk about witches.
Yes, this is Brujas de Mexico.
And we're excited.
Yes, where we're gonna be talking about Las Brujas de Mexico for this episode. We wanted to do this as a bonus episode, but I feel like Irma and I have gotten very passionate about these bonus episodes, and we've been looking forward to more bonus episodes. So we're gonna actually
Mm-hmm.
continue the trend and start doing all of these Mexico, kind of like Latin America,
Mm-hmm.
and not only that, but just ghost stories that we're very passionate about. And for just a little sneak peek for our next episode next week, we're going to be talking about dreams, lucid dreaming, and sleep paralysis, and anything of that spooky
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Tune in for next week. And hopefully you guys enjoy that one as well. But for this week, we're going to be talking about Brujas de Mexico.
Yeah, and I just want to add something to that. Like, please send us your stories if you've had any sleep paralysis, any crazy dreams. Send it to our Gmail. I forgot the Gmail.
A spooky podcast at gmail.com, or you can DM us at another spooky podcast at Instagram. We're also on Twitter, and that's a spooky podcast.
Yes, so hit us up, let us know, and let us know what you guys think. Also, Also, don't forget to rate us on iTunes and leave us a rating, leave us a comment, tell us what you think. Rate us 5 stars though, because anything less than that, we don't want it. Just
We're
kidding.
we're looking into a lot of new stuff for this upcoming episodes, and we're very excited about it. And I just want you guys to know that there's a few changes coming up soon, so we're kind of
Mhm.
changing it up, kind of modifying, and we're kind of finding our little place in this subject of
Podcast world.
podcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're kind of going and learning. So yeah, we're gonna be having some few changes. It's not gonna be major. We're still gonna be talking about spooky stuff, but there's some new stuff coming in that we're very excited to share. But we're probably gonna do it for January for the new year. So yeah.
Well, maybe we should just get started. Are you ready?
Yes, bitch. Roll
Yes.
that music, DJ.
Eh, the witches, las brujas, las brujas, eh. We're dancing. You guys can't see it, but
Like my mom would tell me that when I was little. Brujita. Brujita
gonna do
coming.
the laugh again, but obviously, as you guys heard in the intro, I'm not very good at it.
Dude, don't worry. You know when they like talk shit to you and they call you bruja? Like, eres una bruja.
True.
Like, yes, I am.
I'm the head bruja, okay? On
That's
my face.
bruja.
Brujas,
Brujas, brujas.
la bruja,
We should name
la bruja.
ourselves, guys.
For real.
But then the brujas were gonna come after us, and
For real. We're like the fake brujas, like the wannabe brujas or
this
whatever.
is like we're like the Tumblr brujas.
The ones like just mixing random shit in a cauldron and
The
being like, yeah, our
aesthetics
spell.
brujas. The
Yeah.
aesthetics brujas. Bitch.
The head witch is in charge.
I
Okay.
know, bitch. Alright.
I'm going to talk a little bit about a history of witches in general, and then I'm going to go into like a little bit about brujas in Mexico specifically. But Karina's going to do some encounters and really talk about the fun stuff, like actually encountering brujas, because she has like more stories about being in contact with a bruja, which is crazy. Other besides me, being in contact with me, the other bruja that she knows, but that's fine.
What do you mean, bitch? You already know me, La Bruja. My
Her
mom would be
homies, the
like,
brujas.
Karina Bruja. When when I was little, when I used to have long hair, she
Uh-huh.
would call me a Bruja. She'd be like, oh, I don't know why. Maybe because Brujas have long hair. But she used to call me a Bruja, dude. I was little. Call me Bruja. And
It's
then
like,
it started catching up, and my uncle started calling me La Brujita. And I would cry because, that was me.
Oh, yeah. It's okay. Now we wear it with a badge of honor. Okay,
I
brujita
know, dude. No, stop.
número uno y luego yo soy la brujita número dos.
Tengo miedo.
For real.
All right,
Okay,
let's
so
go.
let's jump right into the history of witches. Witches are literally every fucking where, like online, on TikTok, on Pinterest. You can find anything about witches everywhere. But honestly, there I couldn't really find like a point in history, like an exact point of history when the first witch was discovered. There's really no exact place of origin or point in history when they came up. So, to be honest, witches are seen at various points in history, and one of the earliest points in history where witches are seen is the Bible. For example, there is a passage in the Bible that talks about witches, and the passage goes that King Saul sought the help of the witch of Endor to get in contact with the spirit of the prophet Samuel to basically determine the outcome of the war. And the spirit of the prophet Samuel basically said to Saul that he and his sons were going to die during the war. And the next day they went off to war, and Saul's sons ended up dying. So he's like, oh shit, this prophet was true. And so he got scared and he killed himself. So I guess the prophecy was true. They did end up dying. That's one point in the Bible where they actually do talk about witches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there are other mentions in the Bible about witches, but honestly, it's not a good thing. It's just basically denouncing witchcraft and saying that it's the devil's work or the work of the devil.
Is that why they say like never disrupt the spirits? Like once they're gone, like leave them alone. Don't ever bring their presence back because it
Mhm.
opens up like a portal to them, or what?
Yeah, I think a lot of like the religious background of that kind of says something like that. They basically are saying like if you talk to the spirits, you're kind of doing the devil's work. Like you're not supposed to talk to the
Mm,
dead. You're not supposed to talk, or
oh,
like you said, open that portal. You
yeah,
know.
like your rest in peace type of thing.
Exactly.
Um,
There you go,
like Selena
Karina.
right now, like Selena right now, bro. You
Selena.
know,
Anything for
there's
Selena.
dude, there's a whole controversy about like people getting mad at her family because they keep exploiting her. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
refuse to watch it.
But I love her.
I know, but I feel like I'm gonna
I literally do
Selena
anything for Selena.
doing
Anything.
us,
She's the
but
queen. Anyways.
I know I don't know why, but it just reminded me of like people who are like to rest in peace. They should rest in peace, you know.
Exactly.
But las brujas, they say
Pero las brujas stay relevant and I love it.
yeah.
Yeah, so aside from the Bible, witches have been seen throughout history or like talked about throughout history.
Mm-hmm.
And it is believed that the first witches were just natural healers, or
Mm-hmm.
also known as wise women. And basically, they just used their power, potion, and herbs to heal people. And people just started calling them witches. Even though these women were healers, their magical powers were seen as the devil's work. And obviously, a lot of people were killed for practicing witchcraft, like you saw in the
Mm-hmm.
Salem witch trials and the trials in Europe. I think that people just tend to freak out when they don't understand something and presume it as evil. You know, it's just something that we see a lot in history. It's a big trend. And it's crazy because of this lack of understanding and compassion for people's personal beliefs and their practices. There's been like a mass hysteria associated with witches and witchcraft for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fact that Christianity labeled witchcraft as the devil's work is a leading factor for the prosecution of witches throughout history. Kind of
Mm-hmm.
like what you were saying, Karina. It is seen a lot also in like Latin countries, especially when the Spanish and other European countries colonized the rest of the world, because they brought this fear of the unknown and presumed anything that wasn't Christian or Catholic as witchcraft. So, yeah, that's just like a little background of witches throughout history, like all over the world. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the brujas in Mexico.
So Monterrey in
Mm-hmm.
Mexico, it tends to be very well known for their practice of witchcraft. And I'm not saying the whole people over there, but a lot of these stories come from Monterrey. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure if that's cultural or because of the region or what, but
Mm-hmm.
it tends to be a lot of like a hotspot of these things happening.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stories, and for them or in this certain region in Mexico, there's they pretty much believe that brujas suck the soul out of the children's,
Oh my God.
and that's how kind of how like they get powers.
Uh-huh.
This is one occurrence that I read. And then there's others that, like Irma mentioned earlier, that they use it for like medicine. And
Mm-hmm.
it just depends pretty much kind of like what you practice.
Yeah.
And there's like black magic, there's herbal stuff like medicine,
Like white magic.
there's what exactly that's what it is. That's black magic and white magic.
Mm-hmm.
And especially where, again, because my family originates from Oaxaca, we don't fuck with the black magic and we only consider the white brujeria like good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people believe in it, and maybe because it's indigenous or probably like something that dates back, that
Mm-hmm.
some people believe in that like witchcraft more than they believe in like medicine, like
Yeah.
doctors. And I don't know, I'm very fascinated with that too, because it's a costumbre too, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
even here in LA, because there's where we have a large population of Latinos, and they always, whenever one of them gets sick, they're always like, "Oh, thank cura." And what do you think, Irma? Do you consider that a witchcraft thing, or is just someone that practices like herbal medicine?
I don't know if I consider them witches or whatever, but I feel like because of like the history of what witches are, most people would consider them witches because they do rituals to make you feel better and all of this. But I do love the fact that Mexico embraces that part of it, even though, they're very Catholic, they still embrace that part of their history. Because what I was reading also was that in Mexico they do combine a lot of like the Catholic beliefs with traditional indigenous rituals, you know. So I would say that they are witches, you know, the healers that we go to and que nos dan like a little thing to drink and we'll feel better,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. Or like even like oh my god, I was in where was I? In El Superior or like El Super. Here in LA we have
Mhm.
these markets like Latinos markets. Um like Northgate, but I was in one of those. I'm not really sure which one. And I was going through like a section and they always had like veladoras, like candles. And I don't know if you guys noticed because I didn't know they would sell it in mainstream markets,
Mhm.
but I guess they do now. And certain candles were dedicated to certain things, like oh, to eliminate mal ojo, you know, or
Oh shit,
to
I
make
need
someone
that.
fall in love with you, right?
I need that too.
Yeah, and my mom would always tell me when she was little, she was like, those things, you know, you don't fuck with those things because
Mhm.
it kind of bounces back. Like, yeah, it'll give it to you for a temporary time, and then it'll take it away, and the way or the form that they take it away is way harsher than how it was initially, you know, when you were without it. So
Yeah, that's
it's always like
scary.
karma thing,
Mm.
like whatever you put out there is gonna come back to you.
Mhm.
So if you, my mom would always tell me, like, you have a destiny, you have like a path in life. And the moment that you try to destruct it with things like that, like witchcraft, is the moment that, you know,
Shit
it's
goes.
gonna fight back. Like
Yeah.
you already have a path. And basically, I don't know, kind of like that, where you're destined to die a certain way. And if you do something to destruct it, like no matter what, you're gonna die
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
way. It's so weird. Anyways,
That is weird, but I think it's
yeah.
interesting that like your mom brings up that point that you
Mm-hmm.
know that karma idea that like if you
Yeah.
put something in the universe you're gonna get it back like 10 times worse because
Yeah.
you're like fucking with something that you can't really
Mhm.
control, you know, like we don't really know what it is or if it's really magic or if it's the devil or whatever the fuck it is. It's just crazy to think that like whatever you're putting into the universe you're gonna get it back, you know,
Yeah,
especially
that's
like
what.
bad.
So my mom was always very, my grandma was as well very. They made a point to us when we were younger never to fuck with any of that, and just to be careful because there's people out there que tienen malos intenciones. You know, they have
Uh-huh.
bad intentions towards you.
Yeah.
So you never know who you come across, and never just to trust people like that so easily, because
Mm-hmm.
you're giving away like a big portion of kind of like your life. And
Your
my mom would always,
energy.
yeah,
Yeah.
like my mom would always kind of talk about it very negatively, and I would ask her, you know, like why do you always, you know, say these things? And she was like, oh, it's because, you know, growing up I would hear stories of revenge, like the moment they would help you out, but if you would do something that they didn't like, or if you would go against their own purposes, like they'll get back at you. You know, there's a lot of people,
Yeah.
like people that would end up getting hurt. That's kind of how my stories come from. Like my house,
Yeah.
because when I was little, like my grandma used to take care of me when I would go to Mexico. Like my mom would be there too, but my grandma would always be very close to me because I was like the youngest, and
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't really go often. My grandma had a lot of love for me. And when I was little, this happened to me when I was probably like 7 or 8. I was a little older than like a little toddler or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was already in school, like elementary. And I used to have, this kind of goes into the next episode of dreams, but I used to have really bad dreams growing up. And it's always been like a thing with me that I've always had nightmares. And I would just consider them nightmares, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you guys, but it's like a culture when you're little, when you're born, for good luck or for so you don't get sick. They believe that in like pulseras. It's
Yeah.
either like you get medallas or pulseras, or
Yes.
like red ones, like eat like a string. It
Mm-hmm.
just depends like what type of family, like culture you live, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. It just depends. In my family, it was like black rock, and it
Oh.
was that and like a red string. So
Mm-hmm.
the moment you're out of like, they pop you out and they put
They
and they
put
put
it
it
on
on you.
first thing.
Yeah, because it's supposed to protect the baby from anyone who looks at
Mm-hmm.
it bad, or you know, someone looks at you with a certain way or bad intentions or hatred.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to bounce back. It's like a barrier protection. You know, that's
Yeah.
their culture. I'm not really sure if that works, obviously, but to them it was like a big thing.
Like
And my
mal
mom,
de ojo.
yeah. And so my mom was like, oh, we had like a town bruja, whatever. And she would always like kind of do something with it. And then you go pick it up and then you put it on the baby, right? Because
Mm,
she would do something like that. Like she would put like a barrier spell on it or whatever. And everybody would get it from her.
damn. I
Yeah,
need that.
yeah, dude. And then I actually still have mine. So if I find it, I'll ask my mom because she's like a hoarder of those, little baby stuff.
I love your mom though. She's so cute.
Yeah, dude, she's something, but she is a hoarder when we were little, so she keeps a lot of our baby stuff. So
Mm,
I think she told me once that she has it. So if I find it, I'll take a picture of it and post it. But anyways, growing up, I guess I would start getting a lot of nightmares and this and this and this and that, right? And my
mm,
mom didn't really believe in doing all of that stuff, like the string and stuff like that, even though my grandma still got it for me. My mom was very hesitant about it. She was like, oh no, like I don't want, none of that stuff is like, I don't want to believe in none of that. Because my mom had a bad experience in the past that she got framed and robbed
no way.
yeah, like by a fake one when
Really?
she was young. Yeah, like I think she was, because my mom used to live in
No.
Mexico City for a very long time, and I think she wanted to just know, because my grandma was sick at the time and she just wanted like help, like
Mhm.
guidance.
Yeah.
And I think she said, like, she told me that she set up a meeting with one of the, like, a bruja, whatever, to meet up with her. And the bruja was like, or like senora, whatever, was like, oh, like, give me a deposit and then I'll show up, because a lot of people lie to me or whatever. And she sent her
Oh,
a
no
deposit or something. And
way.
then the day they were supposed to meet up, she never showed up.
What a bitch. Fuck
Yeah,
that lady.
yeah, so ever since then, my mom was like, "No, I don't fuck with them no more." Like they're all the same. My mom just
Yeah.
got like a bad experience with it. But anyways, I was born, and my mom was like, "No, I don't want her to do any of that. Like they don't work. Like they only do it to rob people and stuff like that." And because everything did come with a price. But anyways, so my grandma ended up getting it because my mom was like, "No." Growing up, I used to get a lot of nightmares. So my grandma was like, "Maybe it's because like you never believed in it, and you kind of pass it on to her, so it doesn't protect her, and this because I would still wear it." It was still big enough for me to wear. And I think that's when my mom was like, okay, because my grandma was really upset about it too, because I used to get
Yeah.
nightmares and really bad nightmares too. Like I couldn't sleep. And I remember going to the doctor, and the doctor's kind of giving me vitamins so I can sleep, because I wasn't old enough to take those, like,
Sleeping pills and stuff.
yeah, I was so small for that. So they'll give me like vitamins. I'm not really sure what it is, melatonin,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But like kids version, I don't
That's
know.
to go to sleep and stuff.
Yeah, because I would always cry, dude. And then my grandma would be like, it's because those duermes con ella. Like my mom would sleep with me a lot. And maybe I was really clingy to her. Because,
Yeah.
Mexicans, we don't have
Yeah.
cunas. Like that.
No.
We sleep
You
with our
sleep with your
moms.
parents until you're walking and you can
I
be on
know.
your own.
Until like we can
Until
afford
you're
a bed.
18. I'm just kidding.
I know. No cap. No, I'm just kidding.
No cap.
And then so my grandma was like, yeah, like, I don't like that because someone's fucking with her. Like
Hmm.
that has to be it. And my grandma was like super superstitious. Like someone's fucking
Yeah.
with
I mean, it
her.
makes sense.
Yeah, my grandma was like, oh, alguien está, le mejor lo echó ojo when estaba chiquita. And my mom was like, yeah, because ever since she started talking, she's always had nightmares. Like she can't really sleep at night. And even when I was little, a baby, I would always sleep throughout the day, but at night, I was always awake. Like I was always crying. And it's kind of like I had
Dang,
my,
that's so annoying, Karina. Your
yeah,
parents were
I
probably
was
so
such an annoying
pissed.
kid, dude. But my grandma was always like, oh no, it's because she had like nightmares. Or, I mean, she had like someone,
Like put a hex or
yeah.
something.
And so my grandma was like, and she told my mom, because my mom was like a really talkative person like that, It wasn't the nicest. So she was like, you probably you did something to someone and they got upset. But anyway, so my grandma was like, all right,
Hmm.
take her to this lady and see what she can do, because this is not normal. My
Yeah.
mom was like, fine, whatever. And so my mom took me to this one lady. And I remember that we came in or whatever. And the lady was like, all right, well, I need you to sit in front of like La Virgen, and we're going to start you off with that.
Mhm.
See, I don't know if that's witchcraft though. What do you think? Like, can you still be religious and do witchcraft at the same time?
Yeah, I think it is. Honestly, I was looking up like the history of like witches in Mexico, and what I've noticed is that a lot of the witchcraft that is practiced in Mexico is actually like a mixture of both Catholicism and like ancient practices.
Right.
So they mix, for example, they have saints in witchcraft también, which is kind of how the Catholic Church works, you know,
Mhm.
like where we have saints and stuff like the Virgen or whatever. And in witchcraft, sometimes you see saints there too, like El Santo de Muerte, you
Mhm.
know, or like other saints. So it makes, I think to me, it makes sense because Mexico is so Catholic
Mhm.
and like they have this big religious history and aspect to them
Mhm.
that it makes sense that they would combine both, you know,
Yeah.
especially when like the Spanish came and conquered, they kind of instilled this ideology that they have to follow Catholicism. So I feel like our ancestors kind of combined it all to make it okay. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense because if you kind of compare it to witchcraft here, at
Mhm.
least in the United States, it's a little bit different. They don't
Yeah.
tend to rely too much in religion. I might be wrong, but
Mhm.
because I also have friends that do tarot readings and they, kind of do other things, services like that. And
Mhm.
it's just a little bit different the way that I see both. Maybe the same. They have
Yeah.
its similarities, but also very opposite of
Mhm.
Mexico.
Yeah,
But
I think just the art of witchcraft is kind of personalized to the individual and their
Mhm.
history and their belief, you know?
Yeah,
I don't think witchcraft is one specific way of practicing. I think everyone kind of does it differently, you know?
hmm
Las Brujas do it differently than how, like you said, people
yeah,
here in the
it was
US.
yeah, it was an experience, but yeah, basically she sat me in front of like La Virgen, and it was pretty big. It was a pretty big image,
Mhm.
and we're Catholics. Pretty much a lot of the people there are Catholics, and they practice
Mhm.
Catholic. Pretty much, she just sat me down. I was little. She put like hierbas, is what we call it. Hierbas in English. It's probably like plants, just herbal stuff
Mhm.
on me, and pretty much she just told me to close my eyes and just relax, right? And before that, she talked to my mom because my mom speaks her native language, her indigenous language, so they spoke in
Mhm.
native language, and I don't know how to understand it fully, so I just kind of understood a little bit. But
Mhm.
basically, she just wanted to know my age and my name, but she didn't really want to know anything else because the rest she would find out through the spirits
Oh
or something.
my God, I love
So
that for you.
yeah, and then my mom was just like, "All right, just relax, do whatever she tells you to do." And dude, I still remember their room was green, like kind of like teal.
Uh-huh.
It was like a really weird color, but it was teal. And I sat down, and she talked to them, or whatever. And basically, she started doing like movements with her body, and I was just like staring, or not staring because I had my eyes closed, but I was just kind of taking it in.
Mhm.
What is it, like hearing it?
Uh-huh.
And so she started getting stuff and whatever. I mean, she started taking her time and just, I guess, like connecting with the spirits. And
Mhm.
basically she was asking like, oh, leave her alone, because that's when she started speaking Spanish and stuff like that. And she was like, leave her alone, she's like, I guess she can sense that I was very innocent, and she was like, leave her alone, like, déjala en paz, es, whatever. I just remember her saying that. And after that, I stood up, and she started like hitting me with plants,
Oh my
like big leaves,
God.
bro. After that, she started kind of just asking me more things. She was like, okay, so they keep telling me that you keep dreaming about this certain thing, right? Like this one thing keeps coming up.
Mhm.
And she was like, do you feel like someone's looking at you? Like, do you feel like someone's looking at you in inside your room?
Oh
Like,
my
what
God, that's so scary,
she was like,
Karina.
what's in your room? And oh my God, dude, something just, did you hear that?
No, what was it?
Something just moved in my fucking room. I hate my
Bitch,
room.
you are haunted.
Bro, I feel like I am low key, but
I think you're
anyway,
haunted.
I
You need
feel
to
like
go
I'm
back to
always
the Bruja and tell her
present,
to.
bro. Dude, tell me what I was gonna tell my mom last time, but
You should tell her though, because your mom is like the realest bitch.
I
She
know,
knows how to, you know, cleanse your area. You should ask her to cleanse it.
dude, she's crazy. I probably doesn't cleanse me well, bro.
You still hear stuff?
Dude. And then okay, so after that she was like, okay, so who's in your room or whatever, and then like, do you see this person, because there's something inside your room. And to my mom was like
Oh
kind of
my
getting scared.
God.
My mom was getting scared, and I can tell because I was
Uh-huh.
looking at her, because I was getting scared, and we were kind of getting scared at the same
Dude, what
time.
the fuck?
And I was like, oh, I don't know, I don't see anything, but I feel like someone's looking at me, and I can't sleep, because if I sleep I feel like they're gonna grab me. That's what I would tell the lady. And it
Mm.
is true because I still remember, like, my fear was that somebody was there. Like, I can feel a presence.
But I have a question, Karina. So, would you only dream this when you were at your grandma's house in Mexico, or was this like all the time, even when you were here?
So I was always a very scared person.
Mm-hmm.
And she would always tell me, like, okay, you can't watch scary movies. Obviously, I feel like a lot of parents are like that with little kids, right? They don't let them watch scary movies. But I feel like my parents protected me a little too well. Like they always keep me
Yeah.
guarded. So I
Huh?
was very guarded growing up, and I feel like that's kind of what started it too. Because anything that I would see that would be spooky, it would be very horrible on me because I wasn't really used to seeing things
Yeah.
growing up. So I feel like that's kind of what started it. And then I would get nightmares here and there. I was mostly scared of the dark. That was it when I was here, like thing. But I feel like that's a
Yeah.
lot. That's very
Me,
common with
me
little kids.
currently.
Yeah, I feel like even now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still scared of the dark. I sleep with a light on.
Yeah, I sleep with my TV on. I can't sleep without it. It's also my
Yeah.
anxiety, but that's another that's another topic.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of how it is too with me. Like I always have to sleep with something on or like the
Mm-hmm.
TV or the light or the lamp,
Yeah.
whatever, right?
I don't like
And then
silence.
yeah, dude, and I feel like when I got to Mexico, it got really bad. Like I started dreaming and feeling the presence, and that's when I started getting very. I was there and she told me, okay, do you feel like there's someone looking at you? And what do you see? And I was like, well, it's dark. And I've always worn glasses growing up. So it was little Karina with her little
How
glasses.
freaking
So,
cute.
yeah. Well, I can't, I don't sleep with my glasses on. So even if there was something in the freaking room, I couldn't see it because my eyesight
That's
was so
so
bad.
cute.
Yeah, so I always joke with my boyfriend about it with Brandon. And I always like, dude, even if there's something like coming at me at night, I'm dead if I don't have my glasses. Anyway, so I was little and I told her, I was like, well, I can't really see anything because of my eyesight, but I do feel that presence. And she was talking to my mom a little bit more about that. And she was like, all right, well, just follow me. So I followed her into a room and it was dark and my mom didn't come in with me. So it was pitch black. And what I feel what she was trying to do is she was trying to get whatever was in my room
Mm-hmm.
to come there, to like appear.
Like to conjure the spirit that is
Yeah,
haunting you. Oh my
yeah.
God, Karina, that's
So
magical.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, Mom, it's so traumatizing. But anyways, my mom stayed behind, and I remember I had like this
Mhm.
distinguished smell, like burning rubber. You guys know what that smells like, right?
Yeah.
Like and it smelled like that
Like
throughout the room.
like burning
Yeah,
plastic?
yeah,
Like a weird
like
like
rubber. Okay, you know when like cars do like that. They do
oh
like circles or donuts or whatever, and then after they have it leaves that smell.
yeah. Yeah, I know what you're
Yeah, like burning tires on a pavement or like a
oh.
cement. That's how it smelled. And so I came in or whatever, and on the ground, ollas made out of
What are they called? Are they the cantarito ones? Like the
yeah. Like the ones that you serve like drinks. I think after you have to break them and then kind of mold it again or something like that. But it was those. It was those. And there was like a couple. I don't remember the amount of pods there were, but they were all in a circle. So it was pretty much in a circle and they were facing down. And so she was like, okay, go stand in the middle. I don't know if you guys hear this and you guys know this like the meaning of it, please let me know because till this day I'm not sure.
Mhm.
And she sat me down, or she told me to sit down or stand in the middle. And they speak Zapoteco. So I'm guessing that was it. It might have been something else, honestly. I don't really remember, but it was in Spanish, that's for sure. And she started kind of saying this, and as she was saying it, she would flip it. Yeah, the pots. And then as she would go, she'll say something else and then she'll flip it. So the open part would face up. And when she came to the end, she kind of started telling me, like, all right, tell me everything that you're scared of right now. Like, say it. Say everything, like the darkness. So
Mhm.
I started saying that. And then she started flipping it back. So it gets covered again.
Yeah.
I think what she was trying to do, this is just my perspective, is that she probably just wanted to get all of those bad energies and lock them inside the pot
Yeah.
because she started facing it downwards again. So
Yeah,
that's
like to
what I'm
trap them
assuming
or
happening.
something.
Yeah, to trap them or whatever. But I was crying.
Yeah.
I was crying, dude, because I
I
was
mean,
scared
I
'cause
would
it
be
was so
too. That's
dark,
mad
dude.
scary.
And the only thing that was on was like the candles that were surrounding it, because there was like a pot, a candle, a pot, a candle,
Yeah.
a pot, a candle. And I was like in the middle and she was going around saying these things and like she was, I don't know, she was like throwing some type of water. I'm not sure if it's holy water or something. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell it was. But anyways, it was not that long. It didn't take that long. And afterwards, she just told me to go back to my mom. And I remember her telling my mom, like, she should be fine. And then she gave my mom some tea for me to drink, whatever. But that like totally traumatized me. And I still had nightmares. And I found another thing to have nightmares about.
Oh my god, about like the witchcraft that was
Yeah,
done on you.
yeah, that gave me nightmares. And then I kind of blamed my mom in the end because I was like, well, yeah, because you kept me away from all of these spooky stuff. So the moment that I actually got introduced to them, it was like something completely out of this world. Like I didn't really know much about it
Mhm.
until I experienced it, and it was crazy. And I really wish I was a little older so I could have asked more questions, but I was younger and I
Mhm.
didn't really know much about it. But I remember my mom took me and she paid the lady and everything. So I was like, oh yeah, she's a bruja.
Yeah, for real, dude. You
And
did
yeah,
encounter a
and
real life bruja.
yeah, and over there in Mexico, like they don't call them brujas. They just, I mean, brujas like that. They just call them like señoras,
Oh
and
shit.
like they're just señoras or whatever. Like
You
they
know
do
that's
like stuff
legit.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my mom was like, the way you con la señora, and and she says that like la señora, like
Yeah.
you're going somewhere, so they can cleanse you. That's what it was, like a cleanse. That's what my mom would describe it as, a
Mhm.
cleanse. But that shit terrorized the fuck out of me, dude. I was scared.
Oh my
And
god,
that's kind of what I
Karina.
wanted to talk about too. Like, it's cleansing a part of like witchcraft and all of that stuff. Because, in my opinion, I feel like it is a form of witchcraft, which is like the white magia blanca type of thing. Like,
Yeah.
and I think it's crazy how sometimes they do a lot for people,
Mhm.
dude. And even if it's like black magic, my mom describes it as tarot readings. Those are black magic. I don't think so, though. What do you think?
I
Like my family's super against tarot readings
yeah.
and like any of that. They think that's black magic.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think my parents are very like don't fuck with any of that. Like there's this fear. But
Hmm.
I think like the cleansing and all of that, I would agree that I think it's white magic. Like it's just healing. It's these healing powers like they provide you with stuff to make you feel better, not be so scared. I don't think it's bad, but my parents are definitely, or my family, not just my parents. They're just against anything that's like the devil, I guess.
Yeah, it's
They're
for a
all
lot of
very,
Hispanic
yeah, they're
parents.
very religious. So like any tarot cards, whatever, however you say it. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the taro, but like any tarot cards,
Hmm.
or like obviously like the Ouija board. They're like, oh no, you can't fuck with that because that you talk to evil spirits and you're opening up a portal. So I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like my grandma would always say if you do things like that, it will fall onto your generation of family.
Oh my
And
god.
yeah, dude, like, dude, they're so hardcore. My grandma would always say, like, oh, don't ever do things like that because they wish you bad and you may not experience it, but your kids will. And that's what she tells me about like people that malojo,
Yeah.
that you can develop like a rash. Usually when babies break out in rashes, it's because of charonojo. And that like when they would keep getting sick, it's because of el ojo también. There's
Yeah.
always, for Hispanics, there's something always
Yeah.
going
Right.
on.
It's
There's
always
always an explanation
yeah, if it's not
for
medical
everything.
explanation, it's like brujeria, because it's so
Yeah.
common. It's like as much as like people fear it in Mexico, I feel like it's so freaking common. And when you go to Mexico,
Yeah.
you see it everywhere. Like at the marquetas, you're
Yeah.
gonna see like
Like
people
it's
selling
part of the
stuff.
culture.
Yeah, it's part of like the
Mhm.
social norms, societal norms of Mexico. Like
Yeah.
there's like this Catholic belief. Obviously, that's like the main thing. But then right next to it is also like the brujeria. And like it's so crazy to think that it combines both. Like, traditional stuff and like Catholic stuff,
Yeah. Yeah, dude, because
Everywhere.
like even that, like I was talking to my tia was talking to me about how like recently actually in Thanksgiving we were talking about this because I told him like, oh, I'm gonna have an episode of Brujas and stuff like that. And my tia was like, oh, talking about that. She was like, um, so I guess so she told me two stories, but basically I don't know, should I say it?
What? Say what?
Basically my family over there, they wanted to build like a house. So they wanted to buy property from this one lady, and my tia said that she was a witch, but my family still went ahead and talked to her and gave her like an offering, but like business. Okay, we'll give you this amount of money for your property or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess she didn't like it, and so she wanted more. And my family was like, all right, whatever, like we'll give you more, but that's about it. So she was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. And so they kind of said everything was fine. They purchased the property, and I guess there was this certain date she was supposed to move out. And I guess in the end, when it was time for her to move out and kind of hand over the property, at first my family was like, all right, like we'll give you more time. She probably needs more time looking somewhere else, or because I guess she was gonna go live with her daughter in Mexico or something like that
Yeah.
ciudad de Mexico, because they were in Oaxaca. And the second time around came when my family was like, all right, are you gonna move out now because we need to start, kind of building stuff and getting everything ready? And she was like, oh no, I need more time, like blah blah this, blah blah that. My family was, well, we kind of already set a deal and we were nice enough to let it extended. You probably needed more time, but that's about it because we really need to move in and kind of build stuff. Like she got really upset. And anyway, so she ended up leaving. And when it was time for them to demolish the house that she was living in, that when they came in, there was blood, like pools of blood in every corner of the room.
Oh my God. What the fuck was she doing?
Yeah, dude. And then that's when my family freaked out. And they're like, oh yeah, like
Wow.
she probably did something. But
Yeah.
obviously they didn't know, so they just called like someone else to come
Like,
check it out. Like
yeah.
another
To bless
bruja,
it. Yeah.
yeah, or like someone else to come. And they were like, oh yeah, she did something. But she disappeared, bro. She left.
That's crazy. Dude, I actually saw, so I was watching, so I like watching these like shows on YouTube, and they're called Estremo. Like it's a Mexican show that comes on TV, and they,
Yes, dude, I know what
you
you're
know which
talking
one?
about. Yeah, yeah, the
They have,
Televisa.
yeah, they have, yeah, they have episodes on YouTube, and you can watch like the full episode on there. And I was
Mm-hmm.
watching one, and like sometimes they're super dramatic, but I love it. And there's like a couple on Brujas. Like there was one where they went to like this desert area where they knew
Hmm.
that Brujas were living or like hanging out, and you could hear
Oh
them in
shit.
trees. You could hear them laughing. Dude, it was mad scary. And then
Mm-hmm.
there was this guy that lived in the desert, that like the brujas made him blind. So now you can go see him and he's like blind, he can't see, but he could see spirits instead because the brujas made him blind and all he can see is spirits. And it's so
Mm-hmm.
fucking crazy and they talked to him. But there was another episode where they went to this casa de brujas or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And like I guess a bruja used to live at that house and it was super haunted. Like the lady that like now lived there, she was like, dude, like a lot of crazy shit happens. Like when she puts la escoba, the broom under the bed, like someone will pull at it. Like they'll pull under
No
the bed
mames.
and then they had to like do a whole ritual to like cleanse under the bed and then they cleansed the whole house and in the shower like they cleansed it, but it was just like crazy how they got another brujo, like a brujo, like another witch
Mm,
to come in and like do the opposite of what was already there, like cleanse
yeah.
with white magic versus like
Yeah.
black magic. It's just so crazy that there's two aspects of it, like the good and the
Mm-hmm.
bad, and you can use it to fight it, you know?
You're right. That's what, like, dude, that's what's crazy because, like, even with my experience, I didn't experience something like dark. I experienced
Mhm.
something that was, I wouldn't say that worked because I still had nightmares after,
But
dude.
oh,
And
talking about that, like a huevo, like used for like, I guess, I don't know if you would consider this witchcraft. I guess kind of. But have you heard of like the thing where like um they'll cleanse you with the huevo and they'll like rub it all over you and if they like crack it and it comes out black or like with blood in it, then that means that you were hexed.
I heard if you put a cup of water underneath your bed, if you're having nightmares and stuff like that, it's supposed to help you out. Or if you have headaches or
Damn.
something like that in your sleep, or
Mhm.
using sage to clean your house, by the way, is endangered or something like that. So guys, please do not use sage. There's other alternatives if you guys want to
Yeah.
cleanse your houses that can help you out. Like that's kind of the reason why in TikTok, I don't know if you've been seeing this, but it's like becoming a trend, dude. And these brujerias and stuff like, and people might get mad, but I feel like it comes from indigenous people. So
Yeah, I think it's
what I
important to
say,
respect it, respect
yeah.
the history, respect the people. And I feel like if you really want to try something crazy, go to someone that practices it, someone that's knowledgeable, someone
Mhm.
that knows about it, and obviously someone that you trust because you never know what kind of intentions they have.
Yeah, and that's what I think. It's something that the indigenous people have preserved and they practice.
Mhm.
And even though, like for example, like my family, we're indigenous, we still don't really accept it that well. It just depends.
Mhm.
We kind of think about it as cleanses, and we use it for those situations. You're not supposed to even fuck with any of that black magic stuff. But if you do try, good luck. I just personally would suggest you guys to do it.
I
Just
know.
a big ass disclaimer. But
Just be
I
careful
have,
if you put out.
yeah, I've had gotten my cards read.
Mhm.
And even that, my tias and my mom was like super pissed off about it. But I have gotten it like read, and
Yeah.
um, that is just like look at it as guidance, not more like an answer. Does that make sense? Because a
Mhm.
lot of people think like, okay, I want answers to this, but I kind of like, okay, am I doing something right? Am I in the good path? Is this gonna work out for me? Because basically, I already know the answers. I just want to confirm it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you just
And
want a
so,
little bit of reassurance.
yeah, basically that. But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna take it to heart. I'm just gonna be like, okay, well, this does correlate with what's going on with my life. I
Mhm.
think I'm doing fine. So basically, that's kind of like a check in with my spirits and my guardian angels and, whatever, my
Yeah.
angels or stuff like that. And the last time I got my cards read, it went well. Basically, kind of just confirmed what I already knew
Mhm.
and just keep doing what I was doing because I was on the
Yeah.
right track. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like that. Like, I know a lot of people are scared to do things like that and kind of find out something bad. It's kind of like whatever you're comfortable doing.
Mhm.
The thing about it is what I like to tell people is find someone that you're comfortable with and that you kind of somewhat have a connection with.
Yeah.
To someone who's like a friend of mine and that I've known. So I already had a connection with her and
Sticking with people that you trust and having a good intention. Obviously, like Karina said, like shit, bad things aren't gonna come back to you. If you put out good in the
mhm.
world, good in the universe, good things are gonna come back to you. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, if you want to practice it, make sure to go to someone that knows what they're doing so that way you're not fucking with something you don't understand.
Yeah, you always want to listen to yourself, like your body, your intuition is such a powerful thing to have, and a lot of people tend to ignore it. And I feel like if you have a good presence and you have good energy, then you're gonna attract that as well.
Exactly. But I mean, I think that's all we have for today, right, Karina?
I think that's it. Just encounters that I've experienced. This kind of
Mhm.
was more like a little chit chat type of thing, more of
Yeah.
us having a conversation. If you guys like this type of format better than formats, then let us know.
Fuck, my light flickered, bitch. Oh, I'm scared. Blame you, bro. What the fuck?
Fucking ancestors, bro.
Do you see that? My video was like,
Staticky?
yeah. What the freak? Karina, I'm scared.
No mames, dude. Okay, we're just gonna persignarnos real quick.
Mm-mm. Like, we're not
And,
about this.
you know,
There's,
dude, you're right. This thing is so staticky.
I'm scared. Bitch. Anyway, should probably go before
Yeah, we're done for
we're
today, and
done.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys want to tune in for next episode, we're going to be talking about dreams, lucid
Mm-hmm.
dreaming, and sleep paralysis. So
Yes.
it's going to be such a fun topic because we have a couple of experiences as well.
Yes. And so make sure to hit us up on our social media. We want to hear from you guys. So hit us up on Instagram at,
Another spooky podcast,
on Twitter at,
a spooky podcast,
and send us a Gmail
a spooky podcast.
at gmail.com. And
Yeah.
don't forget to like, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, comment. Rate us 5 stars
Mhm.
on iTunes, because again, the more ratings and comments we get, the more people can find us. So
Right.
please, 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 if you liked our episodes, let us know.
Yeah, and hope they give a mic for next episode because I am tired of this and my arm hurts. And I know you guys are tired of this quality of audio. So I'm sorry
Yes.
again, but your girl invested in a really nice mic and that shit has not came in and I'm low-key kind of mad. But
Yes.
hopefully it's here for next episode. But thank you guys and
Woo, we love you
yes.
guys. Thank you guys for
Woo,
listening. Stay
thank
spooky, my
you.
friends.
Bye.
Bye.